What do you do if your child struggles to match pitch or is scared to sing in front of other people? Vocal shape cards to the rescue! Welcome back to Morning Basket Music, your best resource for learning how to teach music to kids. Today I'm sharing all about my secret weapon for pitch exploration. Anytime I use vocal shape cards with kids, they always seem to have fun. And I think what makes this activity so approachable is that it just seems like a fun game to children, rather than some formal exercise of, let's all practice our singing voices today. But in reality, that's exactly what we're doing. Singing could simply be defined as creating high and low sounds with your voice and putting them together to form a melody. So I love any activity that helps us practice singing in a fun way. In this video, I'll show you where to find these cards, how to use them, and what some of the key benefits are for pitch exploration. First, where do you find vocal shape cards? This set that I'll be showing today came straight from my Morning Basket Music curriculum, but you can also do a Google search and find lots of good options on Teacher Pay Teacher. Many of them are free to download. These are a great option if you're looking for something to print, but the good news is you can easily design these cards yourself and you don't have to be an amazing artist. You can just simply hand draw them on a white piece of paper. I have used these plenty of times and trust me, they work just as well. Now, once I've got my set of vocal shape cards, how do I use them? I like to follow the teaching model of I do, we do, then you do. And this will work great whether you're just teaching 1 or 2 kids or all the way up to a large class of students. Explain to your kids that today we're going to experiment making high sounds and low sounds with our voices, and we'll see if we can get our voices to match the picture we see on each card. Notice that I didn't say a word about practicing singing. That's because a lot of times kids and even some adults will freak out the moment they realize they're going to sing in front of other people. So by you introducing it this way, it just makes it seem more lighthearted, like a fun game or experiment. As I begin to model each card, I hope you'll notice 2 things. First, I like to use a neutral singing syllable such as ooh or do, but we're not singing any actual words at this point. Second, I want you to notice how I always point from left to right. And that reinforces the idea that just like we read sentences or words from left to right, we read music in the same way. Are you ready to try your first card with me? I hope you'll actually join in and try making these sounds at home. Here we go. Ooh. What did you notice? At the beginning, we started with a low pitch to our voice, then it got higher and higher until it reached the top and started to come back down. Like I said earlier, when I'm actually teaching these to kids, I'll make sure and follow that 3-step process where first, I make the sounds using my own voice. Second, we all make the sounds together. And third, each student gets to try it by themselves, one at a time. But for the sake of time, we'll go through the rest of these cards pretty quickly so you can see how I demonstrate. All right, the next one looks like this. Starting up high, watch. Ooh. So remember, it's just the first card we did flipped upside down. Okay, let's try another one. Notice how this card looks different. Notice that instead of one continuous sound, now we're going to separate each pitch, like this. Do, 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 do. Again, it's important to point from left to right. Here's an interesting one. If you look at this card, notice that I don't see the pitch getting higher or lower, but it actually stays the same. Do, 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 with 2 short sounds at the end. Now at this point in the activity, once kids have had a good bit of practice using their voices for high and low, I'm going to actually pause and start calling on individual people to explain to me what they think the shape is going to sound like before we try it out loud. Here's an example. I call on Johnny and I say, Johnny, tell me what you think this will sound like before we try it with our voices. So he explains, well, it's going to start high and we're going to get lower and lower, but then I see it just go straight across. And I say, high five, you're exactly right. This is really great for building confidence in some of those kids who tend to be a little more shy or hesitant to sing in front of others, because what you're allowing them to do is demonstrate they understand the meaning of the pitches on the cards. They know the answer up here and they know the answer and they really want to show you. So after you give them a chance to explain, they're often a lot more receptive to demonstrating these pitches in front of the class, and it doesn't seem so scary anymore. Ready to try a few more cards with me? Okay, let's have fun experimenting. And I've saved the best two cards for last. These ones are always an automatic hit because we get to make our voices kind of sound like an ambulance siren. Starting down low, getting a little higher each time. And last but not least, let's flip this one upside down. Ending all the way at the bottom. I hope you've had a lot of fun today exploring pitches with me using vocal shape cards. So let's end this video by talking about some of the key benefits of this activity. First, remember that these cards are really easy to find online, or you can even design your own set at home. Second, this activity helps to take away some of those scary feelings that a lot of kids or even adults feel around singing in front of other people. I could tell you countless stories where I've had a particular student who would never be the type to volunteer to sing a solo in front of the class, but as soon as I ask for a volunteer of, hey, who can demonstrate how to sing this vocal shape card, they would be the first ones to put their hand in the air. Finally, vocal shape cards are a great tool for evaluating whether or not your students can match pitch. Chances are they're going to need a lot of practice experimenting and making those high and low sounds with their voices. So I personally recommend that you not just do this as a one-time activity, but that you revisit it pretty often so that you can see how your students progress. Plus, how cool would it be if you let your own kids design their own set of vocal shape cards and then turn it around to see if you, the teacher, can demonstrate the correct pitches. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. If it's been helpful, be sure to like and subscribe to Morning Basket Music so you don't miss a thing. Until next time, happy music making.